September 3, 2025, a day many hoped would finally crack open the secrets of Jeffrey Epstein's world. The House Oversight Committee released over 33,000 pages of investigative files, promising revelations. But beneath the mountain of paper, only a handful of new facts emerged. Nearly all the documents had already been made public, recycled from court records and past investigations. Survivors and advocates saw this as another performance of accountability, an illusion of transparency, not the real thing. The most damning evidence, the names and details the public demanded, remained hidden. This release was a strategic move enough to claim action, not enough to threaten the powerful. The fight for real answers and for the truth about Epstein's network remains far from over. Tired of waiting for justice, Epstein's survivors are taking matters into their own hands. For years, they watched as the legal system stalled, as powerful names remained hidden, and as their stories were pushed aside. But now, a new determination has taken hold, a refusal to be silenced or sidelined any longer. Frustrated by redacted files and government delays, a group of women began compiling their own lists of Epstein's clients and enablers. They sifted through stacks of paperwork, piecing together fragments of information that officials had kept from them. Each document, each name, became a piece of a puzzle they were determined to solve themselves. "If they won't release the list, we will," said survivor Lisa Phillips. Her words echoed the resolve of many others who felt abandoned by the institutions meant to protect them. For these women, speaking out is not just an act of courage, it's a declaration that their voices matter, and that their truth will not be buried. These lists are built from memory, cross-reference stories, and shared trauma, a grassroots record the authorities have failed to provide. Survivors meet in living rooms and community centers, comparing recollections and supporting each other as they reconstruct the past. Their collective memory is powerful, and together, they are creating a record that is both deeply personal and historically significant. It's not about vengeance, but validation and protection, exposing those who participated, ensuring they can't hide behind power. By naming names, they hope to prevent future abuse and to warn others about those who once operated in the shadows. Their work is a shield for the vulnerable, and a warning to those who think they are untouchable. Survivors are no longer passive. They're building the record the world needs. Their efforts are methodical and relentless, driven by a sense of duty to themselves and to others who may never have the chance to speak. Each name added to the list is a step toward justice, and a refusal to let history be rewritten by those in power. Their initiative marks a shift. The narrative is no longer controlled by the powerful, but by those who lived it. For the first time, survivors are reclaiming their stories, shaping the public conversation, and demanding to be heard on their own terms. This is more than a list. It's a movement for truth and accountability. Their lists may lack official stamps, but they carry the undeniable weight of first-hand truth. Every name, every detail, is a testament to their resilience and their refusal to let the past be erased. These documents are living proof that justice can begin with those who have suffered most. In the fight for accountability, these survivor-led efforts are now indispensable. Their courage is inspiring others to come forward, and their determination is forcing the world to pay attention. As they continue to compile their own justice, they remind us all that real change often starts from the ground up. In a powerful NBC interview, 6 survivors spoke out, demanding the full, unredacted release of all Epstein investigation records. They condemned the recent document dump as another empty gesture, hiding the most crucial evidence: flight logs, witness testimonies, and the names of high-profile clients. Their plea was clear: transparency isn't just for closure, but for the safety of future generations. The women also responded to Ghislaine Maxwell's recent denials, calling them a continuation of the gaslighting and manipulation they endured. Maxwell's words, they said, were salt in wounds that never healed. Their united front was a living rebuttal to the lies of Epstein's enablers. They stood not just as victims, but as warriors demanding the truth finally be heard. The survivors' demands are echoing through the halls of Congress, forging rare and unexpected bipartisan alliances. Lawmakers from both sides of the aisle are feeling the weight of public outrage and the urgent calls for transparency. The voices of survivors, once ignored or dismissed, are now impossible to overlook, and their stories are fueling a movement that is gaining traction at the highest levels of government. Representatives Thomasmassie and Ro Khanna, who rarely find themselves on the same side of an issue, are now leading a determined push for a new bill. This legislation would require the immediate, unredacted release of all documents related to the Epstein investigation, including files that have long been kept hidden from the public eye. Their collaboration is a testament to the gravity of the situation and the growing consensus that the truth must come out, no matter how uncomfortable it may be for those in power. The effort is rapidly gaining momentum, with more lawmakers joining the cause each day. This surge of support signals that the demand for truth and accountability is not limited by party lines or political ideology. Instead, it reflects a shared belief that justice must prevail and that the American people deserve answers. Behind closed doors, staffers and committee members are poring over evidence, preparing for what could be a historic confrontation with entrenched interests. The sense of urgency is palpable as lawmakers realize the world is watching their next move. Meanwhile, the House Oversight Committee continues its own probe, focusing on the controversial plea deal Epstein received years ago and investigating whether political interference played a role in shielding him and his associates from accountability. The committee's hearings have drawn national attention, with witnesses and experts testifying about the failures of the justice system and the need for reform. The Justice Department now finds itself caught between its long-standing tradition of secrecy and the mounting public pressure for openness. Officials are facing tough questions from both Congress and the media, as calls for transparency grow louder by the day. With lawmakers and survivors standing united, the walls of silence that have protected the powerful for so long may finally be starting to crack. The courage of survivors, combined with the determination of their allies in Congress, is creating a force that is difficult to resist. The question is no longer if more will be revealed, but when, and whether the public will finally see the whole truth. Investigative journalists are preparing for a flood of new information, and the clock is ticking as deadlines for disclosure approach. The stakes could not be higher. Justice for survivors who have waited years for answers, and accountability for the powerful individuals who have evaded scrutiny for far too long. The outcome of this battle will shape not only the future of this case, but the public's faith in the justice system itself. As Epstein's files dominate headlines, Donald Trump faces renewed scrutiny. Forced to address bizarre health rumors, Trump tried to shift focus with a controversial Space Command announcement, classic distraction tactics. Yet questions about his long association with Epstein persist, especially as new files put his past under a microscope. Defenders point to Trump banning Epstein from Mar-a-Lago, but years of association remain. Survivors have pleaded with Trump not to pardon Ghislaine Maxwell, fearing political protection for Epstein's key accomplice. The ongoing investigation into his administration's handling of the case keeps the pressure high. For Trump, the Epstein saga is a lingering threat that won't fade. Ghislaine Maxwell, now in prison, remains a central figure in the fight for justice. In a recent interview, she denied witnessing any wrongdoing by powerful men, including Trump, contradicting mountains of evidence. Survivors and advocates saw this as a calculated attempt to rewrite history and inflict more pain. The interview reignited fears that Maxwell could one day receive a presidential pardon. Survivors made a direct plea to Trump: do not even consider clemency for Maxwell. For them, a pardon would be the ultimate betrayal, proof that the powerful are above the law. True justice, they insist, means Maxwell serves her full sentence and her protectors are finally exposed. Hidden in the 33,000-page document dump was a bombshell. The missing minute of surveillance footage from Epstein's jail cell has been found. For years, officials claimed this footage was lost, fueling conspiracy theories about Epstein's death. The new files reveal it was never missing, raising serious questions about the original investigation. Was this a cover-up or incompetence at the highest level? This single minute of video could reignite calls for a transparent probe into Epstein's death. For survivors, it's another reminder of how the truth has been concealed. The fight for answers is far from over. The fight for justice is deeply personal, as shown by Representative Nancy Mace's emotional reaction after meeting with survivors. Mace, herself a survivor, described a panic attack brought on by the weight of their stories. Her words captured the core feeling of abandonment. We know absolutely no one will fight for us. Mace's response highlights the courage of survivors who relive their trauma to demand action. Even seasoned politicians are shaken by the horror at the heart of this case. Yet, Mace also walks a political tightrope, defending Trump while empathizing with victims. Her reaction transcends politics, validating the survivors' pain and the urgency of their cause. The survivors' testimony is a force that cannot be ignored. The initial release of the Epstein files was no catharsis, just another step in a long, uncertain journey toward accountability. For many, the long-awaited unsealing of documents felt less like a breakthrough and more like a reminder of how much remains hidden. The public, hungry for answers, was left with more questions than ever, as crucial details were redacted or withheld. The sense of frustration was palpable, echoing through the halls of justice and across the country. Survivors and advocates see the document dump as a strategic delay, not real transparency. To them, it's a carefully managed release designed to protect powerful interests, rather than a genuine effort to reveal the full scope of wrongdoing. Many feel that the system is still prioritizing secrecy over justice, and that the truth is being rationed out in small, controlled doses. The slow trickle of information has only deepened public skepticism. Each new batch of files seems to raise as many suspicions as it answers, fueling speculation about who is being protected and why. The lack of full disclosure has left many wondering if the truth will ever be fully revealed. The best hope now lies with the bipartisan bill led by Massie and Khanna, which could force Congress to choose truth or secrecy. This legislation, if passed, would require the government to release all Epstein-related documents without exception. It's a rare moment of unity in a divided Congress, and it signals that the demand for transparency is growing louder. Meanwhile, survivors' self-compiled lists are becoming a parallel investigation, pressuring authorities to act. These grassroots efforts are a testament to their resilience and determination. By gathering evidence and sharing information, survivors are refusing to let the case be buried or forgotten. Their relentless advocacy ensures the case won't fade, no matter how many obstacles arise. Every rally, every interview, every petition keeps the spotlight on the need for justice. The movement is growing, drawing in new supporters and amplifying the voices of those who have been silenced for too long. True justice will require more than documents. It demands criminal investigations, accountability for all involved, and a cultural shift that puts survivors first. Only by confronting the full truth and holding perpetrators accountable can real healing begin. The legal system must rise to meet this challenge, and society must stand with those seeking justice. The road is long, but the survivors' determination and growing political will offer hope. Each step forward, no matter how small, brings us closer to a future where transparency is the norm, not the exception. One day, the whole truth may finally come to light, and when it does, it will be because of those who refuse to give up.